video series. Today, I am talking about the dark night of the soul. And right now, so people have a soul, right? Although there are some people who are completely disconnected from their soul, and there are also some people whose soul has been taken over, which a lot of people don't like to talk about. And I can understand why, but there's a lot of walking dead out there. And the walking dead is a disconnection from your heart and from your soul. So, a dark night of the soul is actually a very painful process, which affects your physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies. And it is your soul addressing and opening up to open sourced systems. So your soul is a multi-dimensional aspect of who you are, and everybody comes in with a soul. That is a human being. There are people who are out there that aren't necessarily operating like like they are. I call them the walking dead, but your soul is a multi-dimensional aspect of who you are. When you have an experience of the dark night of the soul, that is really when the soul is going through the process of addressing closed systems. It's also the soul going through the process of addressing parasitic systems. So, those systems that will suck the life out of you. You know, there are people who do that. You all have experienced them. But there are also systems that are doing that. And so when you're going through a dark night of the soul, it could be brought on by an emotional upheaval, it could be a physical upheaval, it could be both. I mean, it's always going to encompass your entire way of being. And it's an opportunity to wake up to the truth of who you are and what you're here to do. You're not here to work a job 9 to 5. You know, that's work. That is not who you are. So your soul wants you to wake up to who you are and your purpose for being here, which is to align with love, um, and to be in higher consciousness, higher states of consciousness. So as you're going through the dark night of the soul, it can be excruciatingly painful. I mean, devastating. A lot of people feel like they can't get through it. Um, and, you know, collectively, as there's like the soul consciousness, but there's also the collective consciousness. And as a collective, I think we are going through a dark night of the soul where we're having to uncover and get real with some very challenging, uncomfortable truths. And it's happening all over the globe. And essentially, these uncomfortable truths, they occur in your individual dark night of the soul as well, as you uncover what you thought was true is not true. So it's really in the simplest terms, in my opinion, the dark night of the soul is really the illusions of things and beliefs and ideas and constructs that you have believed come apart. And the most devastating ones that come apart, in my personal experience, are those of the family. When we realize the family we thought we were had and the family that we wanted to have is different from the one that actually is. And coming to terms with the distinctions between what is and what we want and what's actually occurring can be devastating, to you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so that brings on what the dark night of the soul is moving through those illusions of untruths, those lies and deceits and And it can be very painful. Even though you think you're fine, it could be that you don't want to get out of bed, or you just need to sleep more, or you cry and you don't know why you're crying. And you might think you're depressed, but you're not really depressed. You're just going through this dark night of the soul. And one thing that I would say is there's always a way through. There's not always a way out, but the way out is really going through. And it's about learning to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that takes a lot of practice. Most people don't want to do it. I do it on my own. I have had to do it on my own because when you go into shock, you lose your ability to be present. So you really want to uh, at least for me as a healer and as somebody who teaches other people these things, it's very important to stay true to your inner wisdom and not get caught up with what other people think or believe or say. And you can't do that when you're in shock, because when you're in shock, your nervous system is activated. When your nervous system is activated, it's absolutely derailing every chemical in your body. And that changes how your brain processes, perceives. So it's really important to make sure that you create a strong inner core for yourself. And that strong inner core will always be connected to your heart. And I had a client earlier today say, well, I can't do it all the time. And the fact that they said they can't do it all the time is proof that the potential is already in their field, which means that they can do it. They just haven't accessed how to do it, which they are now on the path with me. Anyways, my name is Kiana and I guide people to peace. And this is just a little insight into the dark night of the soul. I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.